This is your toast with the most, Tyler and Toast, bringing you guys some Overwatch gameplay. Overwatch is a different first-person shooter than all other first-person shooters out there, and people play it differently, and they should play it differently, even though sometimes they don't necessarily play it in the different way that they should play it. So that's what I want to talk about. In the background, you guys are seeing some solo-queued competitive gameplay. The first round will be us on attack, the second round will be us on defense. We're playing on the map Hollywood, and I'm playing as Zarya. We absolutely steamrolled through these people, so hope you guys enjoy the gameplay. The main difference between Overwatch and other FPS games is Overwatch is a hybrid MOBA. And so if you've played MOBAs, I have not, but if you have, then you'll be used to a lot of the things that are in this game. Overwatch also has a high focus on objective play, and I think it's competitive by design. When a game only releases and it comes out with no single player, only multiplayer, then it's going to lend itself to be competitive because it's all PvP. So even when you play the casual playlist of Overwatch, it's still pretty competitive. But then especially when you go to the competitive playlist, you're competing at a pretty high level. And I think that the strategies that you use and the things that you need to take into account are really magnified in this game by how competitive the game is. With that said, I could tell you that you should know where the health packs are. I could tell you that you should know how to aim well. I could tell you that you should have good communication with your team. And yes, while all those things are important and you should know them, those are very generic and can be applied to any first-person shooter. Overwatch is not a generic first-person shooter. It is simple at a glance, but once you really get into it, it's a very in-depth game. Anything could happen at any time, all the different abilities that coincide with each other. I mean, there's 20, I don't know how many there is. There's like 22 characters in the game, each of which has their own special gun and then like 3 or 4 abilities. And you pair those all up with different team compositions, and then the enemy team has different team compositions to counter yours or what have you, then every game is played a lot differently. Let me go over how Overwatch is played wrong, and these are some of the things that I really struggled with because I was naive at the game. And let's compare it to Call of Duty. I'm pretty good at Call of Duty, and I was playing Overwatch like I was playing Call of Duty, and that should not be the case. Much like I shouldn't play Call of Duty like I play Battlefield, I shouldn't play Battlefield like I play Call of Duty. When you play both those games, you learn from them both, and you'll get better at both of them because they focus on different things, and same way with Overwatch. And so when I first started playing Overwatch, I thought, okay, I'm good at games. I'm going to rush out there, kill the enemy team. No, that's a bad idea. So first thing you do is you rush out there without the rest of your team, and the other team knows what they're doing. They're all going to be sticking together. No matter how tanky you are, no matter how good you are, your DPS or whoever you're playing, you're going to get absolutely destroyed because it's 1v6. Call of Duty, I could run in there, I might be able to take 6 people on. But in Overwatch, that is simply not the case. You go 5v6, and that's even pushing it. That's going to be hard to do. So grouping up with your team is so important, whether it's sticking close to that healer or the tank deflecting the damage, but you can still push damage through. Being with your team is huge in this game, and it's something that I would never do in Call of Duty. I don't try to stick close to my team. I actually try to stick as far away from them as possible. So that's one big mistake I made. Another thing is getting trade kills. So especially if you're on defense, there's really no such thing as a trade kill. So Call of Duty, you get a kill, then the guy on the enemy team kills you, boom, trade kill. It's a 1v1 trade. If you're playing team deathmatch, that evens each other out. In Overwatch, that's not the case because you have a role to play, whether that be you're a damage role, you're a defense role, you're a tank, you're a healer, some sort of support. It's not an even trade. Sure, maybe if you're a Reaper and you kill a Reaper, like you kill each other, maybe that's an even trade. But then think about it. If you're on defense and number one, you have a much greater spawn time. You have to walk back. So you're at like a 20-second spawn time before you really get back into the action, where they're at like an 8-second spawn time because they spawn so close to the action. Not only that, but the rest of your team might have needed a Reaper in that specific situation because he's really good close quarters and they were flanking through these 2 little rooms. They needed you in that specific moment. The characters that they are playing were not optimized for that area, and you could apply that for any number of different characters or situations. That's just one example. And so there's no such thing as a 1v1 trade in this game. Another thing that I used to do in this game is when I would play an offensive character, a high DPS character, and I would not be doing very well, I would think to myself, okay, I'm not doing what I should be doing, let me switch to a tank, or let me switch to a healer, because I'm not putting out the damage that maybe someone else could. And while that's not a bad idea to switch from something that you're not doing well, that doesn't mean I'm gonna play good as a tank, or gonna play good as a healer. If I switch to that tank, there's a specific role I need to fill as a tank for the rest of my team. I need to be able to block incoming damage. I need to know when to push forward and soak up damage so the rest of my team can fall behind me. I'm not just switching to a tank so I can have more health, so I don't die as much as I did with that high damage character. Same thing for a healer. I don't switch to a healer just so I can heal myself or just so I can have a little bit more health or what have you. I switch to a healer because I have a specific role. That specific role is being by the rest of my team and coming to their aid as soon as they need me. And so I fell victim to, alright, I'm not doing good offensively. Let me just pick someone that has more health and I'll do better. That's not the mentality you need to have. Pick the role that you are going to be using effectively and do that role that you're supposed to be doing so you can benefit your team. Another mentality I think a lot of people fall victim to is the gold medal mentality. If I have a gold medal, I'm doing good. No, that's not the case. You can play as, say, Pharah or Soldier or Junkrat, someone who has some sort of splash damage or just deals a lot of damage in general. But if you're shooting at that Reinhardt shield the whole time, or you're just lobbing damage across the field, and yeah, it's good to suppress an area, but if you're just lobbing damage and you weak some characters, then they go pick up a health pack, that damage is not important at all. Important damage would be you're damaging the characters enough that they feel threatened, that they have to back up and fall back to the rest of their team, or we just push them back. And in effect, what we're doing is we're able to advance as a team and push the objective forward because of that. Sure, maybe you didn't get the kill, but you weakened them enough that they fell back, and that is important damage. Same thing for healing, and I applaud anyone that plays a healer because they are very, very helpful and very important. Thank you for doing the healing. But if you're playing as Lucio and you have 12k healing at the end of the game, and 6k healing was self-healing, well, thank you for the healing you did do for us, but stick with the team more. We need more healing ourselves. Don't just heal yourself. Be an important healer. And you can apply that to all the different characters. So just because you have a gold medal doesn't mean you're doing good. Make the important kills, make the important damages, make the important heals. The list goes on. Make sure whatever you're doing is important and that it will help out the team, not just yourself and your own stat. Another important aspect to Overwatch is team composition, and this is something that needs to be figured out well before the game even starts. Let's say you pick 2 tanks, 2 healers, and 2 damage characters. That's a good build, but within that, what tanks are you going to pick that pair well with your healers, that pair well with your damage characters? Which ultimates pair well together? What passive abilities are bouncing off of each other? What things are coinciding well? What characters are going to be able to protect these other characters? Because if you have a great healer but no one's protecting them, they're not going to be able to do their job. And so there's this whole composition within the composition. And all that needs to be figured out before the game even starts, and then worked through and evolved as the game progresses. Those are some of the main ways that Overwatch is played and how it should be played, at least from my experience. And I know there's other things, and I can go in more in depth about some of those and talk about more topics, but let me know what you guys thought about the things that I said. Overwatch is a different game, and I do think it should be played differently, and Overwatch can teach you things that will help you in other first-person shooters, and that's what I'm all about, first-person shooters. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay. I went 27-0, we absolutely demolished both on attack and on defense. I've got another Overwatch video ready to be post-commed, so if you guys have a topic you want me to talk about, comment that down below as well. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate it. My name's Tyler and Toast, and I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching.